Thank you for listening to our weekly podcast, the YouGoin'Pro podcast, where we are the number one podcast in the world that help athletes develop proficiency, assisting their passion for the game they love. Today's episode is episode 59. We'll be discussing minor league baseball, college baseball at every level. That means D1, D2, NAI, JUCO, every level. And is there a difference? Also, we'll be talking much, much more about other baseball things because right now we're getting ready for spring training. Here we go. Today's guest has been a bench coach for the Bristol State Liners in the Appalachia League for 10 years. He's assistant coach at D3, D2, JUCO, D1 levels. Consistent work. He has a work ethic, is willing to do whatever necessary possible to help the athletes get to the next level, whatever that may be, on the field and off the field. Now, he is assistant coach right now at, I'm gonna hope I don't butcher this, Chafflin, Chafflin
Claflin.
University, Claflin University. There's a very odd coach, Chris Monroe. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, my friend. How are you? I'm
I'm
good. I'm good.
doing good, man. I keep butchering that school name. And guys that are on the show right now listening, it's Chaflin.
CL.
C. Okay. So
CL. There you go.
so you guys want to check it out? You check it out. It's in South Carolina. And so basically, it's an HBC school. I keep messing it up, but we're gonna go ahead and get to the point. Let's go ahead and get down and get dirty. Coach, got a question for you. Let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Let's talk about the genesis, the beginning stage of baseball for you as a player. What was that like growing up in high school back in the day for you?
Um, First order of business. I mean, I didn't start taking baseball serious till I got to high school. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to be a
Oh,
hooper.
oh.
I wanted to play basketball because everybody. My brother played basketball. Cousins played basketball. We all did that. Baseball was just something to do at first. So,
He's just-
um, I think it was around the age of 14. That's when I'm like, all right, I'm not really getting any taller. The guys, because I'm from up north back in Massachusetts. So when you
okay.
play basketball, a lot of kids play AAU.
Yes,
And I
sir.
didn't play AAU basketball because, mom and dad wanted me in church on Sunday. So I was like, I can't play AAU because the tournaments are on the weekends. And, our high school basketball program was good. And a lot of the kids that played AAU were filtered into the high school program. So the playbook from the AAU was the same playbook for the high school because a lot of the
Mm,
assistant coaches coached the AAU team.
okay.
And they played middle school ball together. So they were coming up. And I remember freshman year of high school, I remember to this day, and me and my parents, we joke about it now. But at first it wasn't a joke. I was like, Mom, Dad, I don't want to play. I don't even want to play basketball in high school, like for real. Like, I think baseball is the way for me to go, and I
Hmm.
just wanted to play baseball. I wanted to train. I wanted to hit every day and get stronger because I was tiny. I was 130 pounds, and
Ooh.
I said, nah, basketball ain't for me. Like these dudes were all better than me. Number one, they've been in the they got the playbook. Number two, like I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm not even gonna play for
Right.
real. I'm not even
Right.
gonna play. Argue with mom and dad back and forth. Obviously, the respectful way. Mom and dad were like, "Oh, you're a good basketball player. You're gonna play and all that, this and that." Didn't. I got. I have. My. I played my 1 year freshman basketball. I came off the bench here and there, but when we're up 20, down 20, it wasn't that I was a bad basketball player. I was. Those guys were just way ahead of me,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so I said, then baseball came around. I made the JV team as a freshman, and I had an okay year as a freshman. And then that's when I started realizing, like, baseball's it for me. Like, this is
Okay.
what we're gonna do.
Okay.
And played in the spring, played in the summer, and played fall ball. Then started going to the weight room, hit every day. I was the kid that they would be like, bro, you gotta go home, bro. You gotta get out of the cage. You gotta go home.
I'm
Type of
laughing.
kid. Type of kid that would always have my glove sitting next to me playing video games, type of thing like that. Always had a ball in my hand. And, I even remember before high school, one of my favorite things to do is to watch Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, right? So, and because I grew up a Red Sox fan in Massachusetts, but my also second favorite team is the New York Mets. My
Okay.
favorite player, one of my favorite
Okay.
players growing up was Jose Reyes. I wore number 7
I got you.
coming up, and so every Sunday I get home, watch Sunday Night Baseball to see if the Mets were playing or the Cardinals, because those were the marquee teams that played on Sunday night was
Oh yeah.
either the Mets, the Cardinals, the Astros, the
Or the
Yankees,
Yankees.
the
The
Red Sox.
Yankees. That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
And so I remember there would be times like, and again, I didn't come from a baseball family. I have one cousin that played Division I at Prairie View. Other than that, it was just me. And there would be times watching the Red Sox or whatever, like, you know, at first my family wasn't a baseball family, so it'd be like, Chris, don't you want to watch something else? My mom would say that, right? My mom would say, hey, don't you want to watch something else? And I'd be like, all right, here's the remote. And then I'd walk upstairs, and she'd go, you're not going to sit here and watch this with us? I'm like, no, Red Sox. I'm going to go upstairs and watch the Red Sox game. Like, I'm going to go sit in my room and watch the game. But they thought I was just watching it for entertainment purposes. Like, I was watching it
to learn.
Yes. So they didn't understand that right away. So then it gets to sophomore year, junior year of high school, and they're like, "Oh, okay, like this is his thing. Like this is not a joke to him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If I could go out and play, I was gonna go play by any means." And I remember junior year of high school competing for the starting shortstop position. I didn't win the job.
Okay.
There was a dude that was in front of me who's actually still one of my best friends to this day, and we joke about it. He was like, "Man, you were the better player. I don't know why coach played me over you, but whatever." And I go through junior year, senior year, I win the job. I end up being the utility guy, play whatever, caught, pitch, whatever that I had to do. Because at the end of the day, my goal was to play college baseball. A lot of guys on my high school team, even though they were great friends, as teammates and baseball players, they didn't really care about baseball like that. So it was just something to do. And for me, it was like, all right, if we're gonna go out here and play the best teams in our conference and get smoked, at least I'm gonna get my 3 hits.
That's right.
At least I'm gonna get my 3 hits, because my goal is to play in college. Get the freshman year, I go to the hometown Division III at Fitchburg State. Got cut my freshman year.
Okay.
Just wasn't physically there, and that was at the Division III level. Just wasn't physically there. End up transferring to now where I went to college, Framingham State, and my career just like it was just needed. I just needed a different environment, so I ended up going there to play. And my first 3 seasons were bad. I was real bad. I didn't hit. I was a pitcher. I got moved to becoming a relief pitcher, and I was real bad. And I get to my senior year, and my college coach was like, "Hey man, like if you don't figure this out, bro, like you're just gonna get cut as a senior." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll show you. Like we're not doing that. Like we're not doing this. Like I'll show you." Come back and have the best year of my career. I threw 45 innings and had a sub-3 ERA, and then he pulls me in the office after our season ends and goes, "Hey, so what do you want to do?" It's like, I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna coach high school ball, see if I like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you come coach with us? What? Why? Like, I'm not ready to coach college. I don't know if I'm ready to coach college.
Right.
He goes,
right.
Hey, man, you're going to be a volunteer assistant. This is how this is going to go. You're going to be a volunteer assistant. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to, I can't pay you, but, like, it's an opportunity to get your foot in the door. I said, all right, run it. So I get that opportunity. My first year as a pitching coach, your first year coaching, you're just trying to figure it out.
Yep.
You have no answers, actually. You don't have all the answers. You have no answers. You just got to figure it out.
That's right.
And we get to 2015. 2015 was my first year coaching. And then that summer, going into 2016, I got to coach in the Northwoods League, which is one of the best collegiate summer leagues in the country still. I get to go spend the summer in the Midwest in Wisconsin. I'd never left the New England area in my entire life. I remember moving out of my college apartment, going to my grandmother's house at the time because I had family. My parents moved to the South at the time, and I said, "Nana, I'm going to Wausau, Wisconsin." She says, "What?" "I want to go coach a college summer league. I'll be gone for 3.5 months." "Where's Wausau, Wisconsin?" "I don't know. It's somewhere north of Madison." I'm just taking the job. I'm out. I'm going. I took the job, and it was an awesome experience. I got to throw in the home run derby on Lake Michigan. It was on CBS Sports. The videos are still there. And in the home run derby that year, there was Griffin Conine, who was Jeff Conine's kid. He ended up winning. And there was a lot of now guys that played affiliate ball out of that league. And in the home run derby, we got to hit balls on the Lake Michigan. So it was pretty cool being in the home run derby, throwing BP to guys and just watching guys just hit moonshots into Lake Michigan. It was a good experience. And then came back for year 2 at Framingham State, and then took other jobs along the way. But it's been now 10 years, and I'm like, wow, I've really stuck it out this far, because most college coaches that start out young, they don't make it to year 10 because they get the wife and kids, and they're like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm not making any money. I got to provide for my wife and family, which is,
Right, right.
you know, depending on how you see it, some people say, oh, they just didn't want to stick it out. But other people, I'm like, hey, man, like, when you got a wife and kids, like, you got to be able to provide for your wife and kids. You got to pay the bills. I get it.
That's right. That's right.
That's just part of being a grown man, being a grown adult. So,
Right.
but it's been 10 years, and there's been great situations, and there's been challenging situations, and there's been situations that it's like, man, you sure am I supposed to be doing this? You know, God, you're supposed to be doing this. It's supposed to be like, it's folding out like this. Like,
Right.
you sure about this? You know, but it's been a pretty cool experience so far to be able to do what I do.
That's good, man. That's good.
You know, I still enjoy it. I still have, you know, the passion for the game. So I figured it's like, hey, it's working out. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds good, man. Because you said you started late. Correct me if I'm wrong. 14 years old, start
Yeah.
playing baseball.
Well, I started playing at the age of 5, like T-ball, all that stuff. I started taking it more seriously at the age of 14. You know, it was something to do for me. It was like, oh, let's go play Little League, go play T-ball. Was I good at it? Yeah, sure. But, like, I didn't really take it seriously until that middle school age of 13, 14.
And that's kind of late, really, Coach.
Yeah.
Coach, that's late because think about the kids nowadays. I mean, I train kids here in Florida, and one lady came up to me one day. I was in a restaurant. I guess she seen my car with my my tag on there, talk about training, and she said, "Do you train?" I think a 5-year-old. I was like, 5. I'm like, no, I don't train. I'm sorry, I don't train 5-year-olds. I mean,
right. It's like, does he even know if he likes baseball or not at that age?
Right.
Like,
I mean,
and that's a question I ask, you know, and I've coached a club circuit too. And it's like, you see the kids that are doing the private lessons at 9, 10, and there's no disrespect to that, but it's like, why don't you let them figure out if they like the game first?
Right. It's a little bit, it's like overload. I'm like,
Yeah.
whose dream is this? Yours or the kids?
Right.
No disrespect to people. I mean, people that listen to the show, listen to the podcast, I want to say thank you for listening. You know, I've did quite a few episodes, and this is the same question we ask every coach. Every coach, every player is the same questions. I'm like, next time I'm gonna try to get some parents on. I'm gonna get some parents on the show. Like, listen, it's gonna be an open discussion about baseball and life. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna give you an experience because I coach here in South Florida. I had a kid that played baseball since I think he may have been 7 or 8. Because here in South Florida, they play, when they start breathing.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So this kid was pretty good. And I said this because, not just because I liked the kid, but we didn't start off with a very good relationship. First of all, let's just talk about it wasn't a very good relationship. He's from the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. We're in South Florida. He had this this distant air about himself, distant.
Right.
And I took things the wrong way. I was wrong. It was me. It was not him. Because we always think, sometimes we got this, because I'm black and I'm a baseball coach, we have this thing that we think. And that's not true. And it's not true.
It's not. You're right.
It's not true. And it's just something I believe is because the way we were raised in our DNA, we always think that we're the enemy. And I'm not the enemy. It's just sometimes they look at us different because we're doing something different, and you are a person of color. Just put it that.
Yeah, you're not doing what everybody else that looks like you is doing. Right.
Correct.
Right.
So then,
Exactly.
And then that's how I had to. But it took me at least 3 years to figure that out, Coach. 3 years, because I had coached him when he was a freshman. So I had coached him freshman year, sophomore year. Now I'm going to the 3rd year, and I'm like, man, this kid just won't open up to me. And I thought about it. It wasn't the kid. It was me.
Right.
It was me, because I had an error about him. I perceive, and I was totally wrong. I had to, ask him, tell him I apologize. I take full responsibility because it was me. So, but most coaches are not going to do that.
No.
They're not going to do that. But I serve my Father, Lord Jesus Christ. I had to remember, not just the kids watching you, God's watching you. So I had to get it right. I had to get it right.
To get that right, for real. Yeah.
So let me get, and something else I want to share with you. That same kid, when I had transferred to a new school, because I had a better opportunity to become the head coach at another school. He came with me. He was the first one to come with me.
He was the first one. It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
He was the first one.
He was the very first one. I was like, I'm going to transfer. I got a coaching opportunity. And the school was bad with baseball. They were bad. They didn't have a record. And we came, we just turned it out. And he came
Mm-hmm.
and some other friends came and another I want to share one more thing. But this is really gonna bless you, Chris. I had I was at baseball practice, the same kid. We were behind the L screen. This is recent, 2 years ago. The last pitch at batting practice. So we're the indoor facility, and I got hit in the eye being behind the L screen because
Right.
you stick your head out just a little bit to see the ball, just to see
Yep.
it, and it came right back at me.
You get caught. Yep.
I got caught, and it's a freak. That's like getting hit by lightning. That doesn't normally happen in baseball, but it happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I went down. Man, I went down, brother. I thought I lost my eye, because you
For
got to
real.
think you're in the batting cage, and you're not that far away, so I'm a little closer,
Mm-hmm.
and from an aluminum bat, it hit me in the face, knocked me out. Went to the hospital. Thought I lost my vision. By the grace of God, I'm still can see. I mean, it's not the same, but I can still see.
Yeah.
And when I went to the hospital, Chris, listen to this. I was out. He was the first guy there,
Of course he was. Of
and
course he was.
the first guy there. So that's what I'm saying. And if I didn't get it right from the beginning and told him, if I didn't get it right and apologize and be a man and man up, and say, you know what, I perceived you didn't like me and this, and I was all wrong. It was just something in my head,
Right.
So I just wanted to share that because people need to hear that. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a coach, I'm a man, but I made a mistake and I had to get it right. But to this day, he calls me, talks to me. He's in college now, and love him to death. Love him to death. So I just
Yeah.
had,
Nah, that's awesome, man. That's real cool right there for real. Like it's funny how when you get put in situations and how the Lord uses you, you know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta allow that to happen,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
a lot of times we say we want the Lord to use us, but we want him to use us our own way. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? That makes sense.
That's
So
right.
it's like yeah, he's sitting there, he want to use you, but you gotta let him use him the way he
He
wants it to
wants to
be.
use it. That's it.
He wants to use you versus the way I want to be used this way. It's like
That's right.
that's not how this works. You know, that's not how this works. Again, I always like to joke like my dad's a pastor. I'm not. I'm the coach. Dad's a pastor. So like I don't do that. I don't get in that lane of preaching. But it's
Right.
just like when if you want the Lord to use you gotta allow that to happen and let him do
Right.
it his way. And
Right.
his way is gonna work out a lot better than
Yeah,
our
that's
own
right.
way of doing it. I'll tell you that right now. So
That's right. You're right. You're 100% correct. So I had to learn it the hard way.
oh
Like I
yeah.
had to learn it the hard way. So now I don't even fight it. It's like okay, whatever.
Nah.
Let's roll with it. Let's roll with it because
And
I'm
as my mom used to always say to me, right? Hey, you don't want to fight God and win.
yeah
You
because
don't want to fight God and win.
he's undefeated.
Fact.
He's undefeated. He never loses a game. He never loses a fight either. You may look like you're winning, but
Nah.
it is no. No, you may get a few runs in the first inning, second inning, third inning. We get to that seventh inning, you start getting to the ninth inning,
And you start getting humbled, yeah.
real quick. You're like, oh, whoa, whoa. So, I appreciate you sharing that, man, because I know there's a lot of kids that start baseball late and start sports late. You know, you're just blessed to have an opportunity to do that because now it's harder, coach. It's
Hmm.
harder for if a 14-year-old. I mean, I have people contacting me on a daily basis want to play baseball, and they're seniors. I'm like, what are we, what are we doing? I mean,
Right,
do you
right,
understand
right.
this? I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it. All things are
Nothing you
possible.
can't do it. It's just gonna be real, real hard for you.
Right, because baseball is one of those sports. It's. I mean, baseball and any other sport. Every sport is different, but baseball is very challenging because you're going to fail more than you succeed.
And it's a fundamental game. It's a fundamental game. If your foundation of fundamentals is not set early,
It ain't gonna work.
it ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
It's not.
You're
It's
gonna be
not.
frustrated and you're gonna quit. You're gonna be
Hmm.
frustrated. You're gonna quit.
I
I
mean, how
mean,
many times have we heard the story? There's probably we probably both got friends of different age groups that they get to a certain age, whether it's 12, 13, 14. Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm all done. I'm all
right,
done.
right, because
I got when dudes start throwing harder and snapping off sliders away, and you're sitting there like, I can't hit that. Like, I'm good. I'm gonna go play football.
right,
I'm gonna go
and
play
then
basketball.
that's exactly what happens. I mean, that's pretty much what happens. I mean, because you said you started playing basketball first.
Yeah.
What made you? Well, I know why you said you made that decision to change because of your height.
Yeah. when you get dunked on a couple times and you got guards that are 6'1", 6'2", and you're 5'7", it's like, man, this is gonna be real tough today.
Right,
It's gonna be
right,
real tough today. Now, obviously, like I played against guys bigger than me in basketball, but it's like I started watching guys in baseball. One of my favorite players of all time is Dustin Pedroia. Watching him play, he was 5'6", 5'7". Jose Altuve, you know, other than Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez is 5'9".
right,
So I saw, obviously now that was 15 years ago, 20 years ago when I first started really locking in on the game. But like, obviously guys in the big leagues are, some of them look like middle linebackers now, but it's like I started watching the game of seeing the guys that are my height play the game, and I'm like, all right, that guy's 5'9", and that guy's 5'8". I'm that size. I can do that too.
right,
And even people that know me have always said, Chris, you have no problem being the guy that does something different, right? So when I played baseball, I was the only black kid on the team, right? So, and obviously I'm a segue back to my experience now, but like people ask me, what was it like being the only black kid on the team? I'm like, I don't know, man. They're all my teammates, so I don't really look at it like that. I don't really
right,
care. I can call any one of them. They'll answer the phone, right? Because they're my teammates at the end of the day.
right.
Just like we talked about earlier, I'm in the business of people. I'm pro people.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your background is. I don't care, what you had to do to get to this point. I'm pro people. So that's how I roll.
Right,
Especially like, especially for me, if I want to work at the professional level,
correct,
pro
correct.
people.
That's right. You gotta be.
It's a business at the end
It's a
of the day.
business.
So
That's right.
like therefore, like if I'm good enough to do my job, that's what it is,
Right.
and that's how I'm gonna treat it. I'm not gonna. My father always taught me not to don't allow your skin complexion or your skin tone to make excuses for why you can't be successful. And
Correct. Correct. Right.
I've always, I take that very seriously. Especially with working in baseball, I try to especially in the year 2025, I'm like, hey man, like if you're good enough at your job, you're gonna have a job. If you're not good enough at your job, well then you're just not a good
Right.
employee. You don't have a job. Simple as that.
Correct. And on top of that, and it's something that I've realized when walking with God for so long,
Mm-hmm.
when you're walking with God, even if you're not walking with God, He's going to give you a sign to tell you, okay, if you didn't get this job, maybe there's a job down the street you don't know
I got
about.
for you, right?
Right. Just because this job is not, you didn't get this job, maybe there's a job for you that fits you for what He wants to put you in. But
Mm-hmm.
the problem is, like, you go back to what you just said, we try to gaslight Jesus or gaslight God
For
and
real.
tell Him what to do, and he's just like, listen, don't do that. You're wasting your
Right.
time. You
Nah, you nailed it too, man. We really try to gaslight the Lord in some things, and I'm like, that's crazy.
you can't do that. I've learned it. Coach, it's not that. It's put it this way: when you're walking with Him and you're trusting Him,
Mm-hmm.
you're putting yourself in the back seat and let Him drive the car. That's what I'm trying to
Drive the
say.
car. Right.
Let Him drive, because I'm the best backseat driver in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I can be going the wrong way and don't realize it, and he'll let you know. But this is encouraging because a lot of times I know these players and people are listening, they're thinking, well, I'm 14, I just started. You can go out there and do it, but let's understand where you're at and where you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to go. That's
Mm-hmm.
the bottom line, because for example, you're at a HBC school, and I noticed that a lot of guys of different ethnicities they go play at HBCS school and they're not black,
Yeah.
and
I got
and
white kids on my team at an age. We're at HBCU. I got white pitchers. I got white players on my team. My shortstop's white.
no, but guys don't think. But now that we're talking about it, guys don't think that. They think it's all black, like
Right.
all black. I'm like, no, that's not. It's very few schools are like that. Very few. There may be a few I can think of some, but I'm not gonna call their names out. But there's a few that do. But the one thing I like you said before, and I said as well, when you get in the real world and play baseball, just say you make it to the next level. Just say you made it to the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that baseball team is going to be all black? Do you think that?
No.
No,
No.
no, no. Let's just be realistic. And I'm not against my culture. I'm not against where I was born and raised, my heritage. That's not what I'm saying. But also we have to realize that when you are in this world, you have to, like you said, you got to stand out.
Yeah.
You're already stand out anyway because you're playing baseball.
Right.
But within itself, don't forget that Jackie Robinson was one of the very first black men that played in a Major League Baseball.
Hmm.
So we're in Black History Month as we speaking, and I'll talk about Martin Luther King. That's the reason his dream was alive for all people to be
Right.
equal people. Which
Right.
that leads me. Since I'm talking about that, I'm gonna go ahead and I gotta throw a truth out because I in each one of my shows, Coach, I throw a truth, and
Right.
this is Black History Month. It's something called the true triple play. I call it the true triple play. So, in other words, I'm gonna give you a name. I'm gonna give you guys some information that we may not know. This is history, because a lot of guys don't know baseball, they don't know basketball, they just know what's going on today. But you got
Yeah.
to realize
Right.
who was the forefathers before we got to today.
Right.
And a true triple play. I'm gonna give you a name. I'm gonna give you what he accomplished. Three facts. Number his first name is his true triple play. His name was Pete Hill. He played before the Negro League baseball. Before Negro League
Okay.
baseball.
Yep.
Now this is way back in the day. We're bringing out history, but they called him Pete Hill, but his name was John Preston Hill. He was born in October 12th, 1882. So baseball's been around a long time.
It's been here before any one of us.
Yeah, so you got 1882. Pete Hill was a center fielder. He hit left-handed through right-handed. He died 1951, November 19th. He was inducted. That's the first fact. I'm sorry, the first truth. Second truth is this: he was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2006.
Hmm.
A black guy. On top of that, he played 11 seasons. But check this out. He played 446 games. He had 2,111 at bats. Okay, now listen. But remember, he played before the Negro League. So these are combined stats.
It's combined stats. Okay.
Correct? Combined stats. So he played 446 games. Also, he had 626 hits and 2,111 at bats. So think about that. He had an overall batting average career just from what they got together 303. He hit 303.
Mm.
He had 47 triples and 2,111 at bats. But check this out. He had 86 doubles. He had 404 runs. Wait a minute. Okay. 404 runs. So that means he was scoring most of the time. He had a career batting average of
Right.
303. His OPS, on base batting percentage, was 829. But he only hit 35 home runs. But he's still in the Hall of Fame. He played with a team called California American Giants. So now I'm gonna give out some names so you can kind of catch on.
Hmm.
Detroit Stars, Toledo Tigers, Milwaukee Bears, and the Baltimore Black Sox. All of those names are familiar to us today.
Right.
And this is back in late 1800s and early 1900s. So
Hmm.
I wanted to go ahead and give it that true triple play. That's his very own Pete
That's
Hill.
cool because, like, you know, this past weekend we got to play in an HBCU tournament down in Birmingham. We got to play at Rickwood. And just having that experience for our guys to go down there. We won game one, tied game two, lost game three, but just having that experience, you know what I mean? And like, I don't even know if like our guys really understand that because they're so young. They're 18 to 22 years old. They're in college. They might. I don't know. But like, just being able to understand like who's been on that field, and you know, and then it's to the point now that Major League Baseball plays a big league game there every year.
Hmm.
And it's like, just understanding, and that's why I have such a high respect for the game of baseball because, like, and that's why I mean, it's funny because there's certain times in the dugout, guys will go about the game a certain way, and I'll snap on them, like, hey, you got to play the game the right way. Coach, you just don't want us to have fun. Nah, like, watch a big league game, they go about the game this way. You say you want to play at that level, you got to start acting like it,
Right.
right? It's not you just flip a switch and decide when you
No.
want to be professional
No.
and when you don't. If you want to be a good college player, in my opinion, then you're gonna do what the good college players do. Like, they do like all the props and this and that and this, and like I know that like I'm sounding like the old man yelling at the cloud, whatever. But it's just like for me, I want to be at that. I want to be at that professional level, so I'm gonna act like a professional. I'm gonna move
Correct.
like one. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying?
I'm with you.
For example, some dudes make fun of me because they're like, "Hey, like, why do you clean your shoes before every game?"
I do the
Because
same thing.
the guys in the big league, because the guys in the big league clubhouse take the scrubbing bubbles and the shower brush and clean their shoes before every game. I was taught that by my college coach. His father was a two-time All-Star for the Red Sox. Like I'm being around guys in pro that play pro ball. I want to do what they did. I'm not going to be able to do it as a player, but I want to do it as a scout or as a coach or like player development.
Hmm.
As a
Right.
coordinator at some point.
Correct.
Well, you can't go on the field with dirty shoes, man. Can't go on the field. You can't go on the field with your pants all dirty because you didn't turn in your laundry,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
You can't go on the field with no haircut, coaching first base or coaching third, like when the barber's in the clubhouse every day.
That's right.
Nah, you
What are
can't
we
do that.
doing? What are we
Yeah, what are we
doing?
doing? So
Right.
like, if that means I gotta do the little things like that take a little extra time out of my day so I can walk on the field and look presentable,
Correct.
whatever, I'll do it.
Right.
You want to laugh at me? That's fine. Go ahead. You just don't want to be a big leaguer. That's you.
That's right. 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 And I got a question. Now you brought it up, so it's another question I got for you. So what is the definition? Because the name of the show is You Going Pro, and people think You Going Pro means you going to Major League Baseball, you going to NBA, or you going to NFL.
Mm-mm.
It's bigger than that. This is bigger than that because I said we teach and we develop athletes to develop proficiency. We help you develop. This podcast is helping you develop proficiency if you listen. So that brings to the question: what is the definition of being a pro or proficient?
I mean,
Because
being
you
a
just
pro,
broke it down. You just broke it down. But I'm
yeah,
gonna let you go
it's
ahead.
it's doing the little things that nobody wants to do to be consistent, right? I think that's the best way to put it. Like, you're being consistent in what you do every day. You're doing the little things that nobody wants to do, like the attention to detail. You're doing that every single day because not only is it required for you to do it, it becomes something that you want to do
Hmm.
anyways, right? So I know for me, I'm going back for my third summer in the Appalachian League,
Okay.
and Lord knows I can't wait for that experience because the environment I'm in, I'm just around
Right.
major league dudes. You
Correct.
know,
Right.
I know our coaching staff, like our manager, he was major league hitting coach for the White Sox, the A's, the Cardinals. Our hitting coach and our pitching coach in 2019, they were the pitching coordinator and the hitting coordinator for the Washington Nationals. They have World Series rings. I got to hold them. And just in 2023, my first year in the league, my manager was the one who drafted Albert Pujols. So it's like being around those type of guys. Jack Wilson's in our league. Mickey Tellson's in our league. As managers. And my first year, Bobby Jenks was a pitching coach in our league. Kevin Bowles was a coach in our league. And Kevin Bowles is now I forgot what organization he's with. He's with it's gonna bother me. He'll come back to me, but he's a minor league manager now. But he used to be the big league bullpen coach for the Mets.
Okay.
So it's like, and our director of our league, he's been a farm director. He's been in player development. He's coached guys like Prince Fielder, Richie Sexton. So it's like, okay, the
Hmm.
guys I'm around in the summer have way greater experiences and resumes than me. Don't you think I should probably ask them how they go about their business every day if I'm going to be here for 2 months? You know what I mean? If I see our hitting coach and our pitching coach cleaning his shoes before the game, I'm going to go sit right next to him and do the same thing and start asking him questions about his experiences in the big leagues. You
Hmm.
know, but in order for me to get there, I have to do those little things,
Hmm.
right? So like it's just, and that's why people ask me all the time. They're like, oh, like, how people like to ask the question that will say the pick one question, right? Oh, what do you think? What do you like more, coaching your college team or coaching in the Appy League? And I'm like, first of all, why are you trying to make me pick, right? Like it's two different environments. Number one, you know, right now I coach at the college level because that's how I started getting into working in baseball. But my goal is to get to that minor league level, the major league level, maybe even one day get in the front office at some point. So, I just use all my experiences that I've had over the last 10 years and mold it into what I want it to be and allow it to get me to where I would like to be, but like, it's just like, my experience in the Appy League, I'm going back for year 3, and it's like, they're like, do you start counting down the days anytime soon? I'm like, I don't know if I should say it or not, but yeah, because the environment I'm in is just so unbelievable that like it's given me an opportunity to not only be around high level people and high level resumes, but it allows those type of people that I'm around to pour into my life too.
Correct.
And that's one of the biggest reasons why I can't wait for it to I look forward to that, because I know when I get there, I got people that have been at a way higher level than me that are just waiting to pour into my life, and I can't wait for that. Like, I mean, who wouldn't want someone who's been there to pour into their life? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Correct.
it's
Correct.
just like, why wouldn't you want that?
Right. Right. And
You know?
in each situation, based on what you just said, you know, the question was, what is the definition of proficiency or being a pro? You already broke it down, but people may say, what is he saying? I say, basically, do the small things right,
Mm-hmm.
do it all the time, be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter who's watching you, cleaning your shoes. This is professional. I'm a
Yeah.
professional,
Yeah.
and so I'm a professional on the field and off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said they laugh at you, they laugh at me too. I coached baseball, okay, and I used to coach basketball. So when I went to coach basketball, I wore a suit. Now everybody don't wear suits no more. I'm like, well,
Right.
I gotta wear a tie because I'm a
That's what you
professional.
do.
That's right, and I'm a professional. But there's a different level of respect when I come on the court.
Right.
So let's talk about baseball. Same thing with baseball. Since I can't wear a suit in baseball, every time I have a game, I wear a different pair of cleats, and they're
Mm-hmm.
clean and they're
Mm-hmm.
clean.
Right.
I smell good, even though I know I'm gonna get dirty. I smell good. I smell like a professional.
Correct.
Right? Like, coach, why you put cologne on? Listen, I'm going to work. This is
Hey,
work
I
for
do the
me.
same thing. I do the same thing,
So that's
like,
the definition of being a professional. That's why I ask everyone that comes on, what's your definition of professional? And everybody got different reasons and different, but also I realize that, listen, I'm not just representing myself. I'm representing my wife and my father, and
yeah.
my son and my daughter. I'm in my family. So when you see Coach Laurie, like, man, where this boy going? He's going to a baseball game.
There are a
But
lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that you're representing. There's a lot of people that I'm representing. There's there's examples that you're setting. You're setting an example for someone that you don't even know who exists.
correct. You're
You know
exactly
what I
right.
mean? Like, it's like, I know for me, like when I go coach in the Appy League, like I always, for me, like I'm a Jordan guy, right? So I got my Jordan 1 lows that I wear. I got my Jordan Space Jams that I wear. I got another pair of Jordan 1 lows that are in my StockX account that I ain't gonna buy yet. I'm gonna wait till and I decided that it's like, I'm just gonna go out there and look professional at all times. Like, I'm gonna
Correct.
make sure my shirt's tucked in, my pants, I'm
Correct.
not big on,
Correct.
I wear my socks up. Some days I go socks down, pants down, but it's like I try to make sure that I look the part. That's what it comes
Correct.
down to. It's like,
You're right.
you know, I've always been a person that's like, if people are gonna evaluate me, I want them. One of the things that they bring up in their evaluation is that he looks the part.
Right.
And I know for me, fall 2023, I had the opportunity to do the MLB Diversity Pipeline Program, the scouting. I did the scouting side of it, and my coordinator for scout school, that's the first thing she said out of her mouth when class was over. When that week was over, when they brought us in the panel, brought us in the room, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh man, like, what are they gonna say?
Correct.
Like, because big time resumes, you got scouting directors, you got front office people sitting in that room. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I think I was like the second or third one in the room. I'm like, oh boy, lock in, let's see what they got.
Right.
And I remember, Bo Porter, major league base
Right.
running for the Angels, and I love Bo. I've had conversations with him, throughout that week, and I remember, the first thing he said to me, he goes, "You're a coach, right?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "So why'd you pick the scouting side?" I said, "Well, I need to learn the scouting side, number one, because if I'm gonna be in coaching, I need to understand what the scouts look for from their perspective and their lens. And number two, I didn't know enough about the scouting side of baseball, so I needed to immerse myself in that so I can become a better evaluator overall. And he was
Right.
like, "Okay, that's more than fair. Like I respect that." And he goes, "Do you think you accomplished that this week?" I'm like, "I believe so." And and then my coordinator, who's now the assistant director of baseball ops for the Giants now, she works directly under Buster Posey. She was like, "Hey, the one thing that we can all say about you is we evaluated how you went about things throughout the week, just how you carried yourself, and you're you carry yourself like you're so big time, and you do it the right way, and people notice that. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but like the way you carry yourself is like very, very, very professional, and like keep doing that wherever you're at, wherever you go, do that." And I was just like, okay, and obviously we got into the evaluating part of like how I wrote my reports and all that stuff. Obviously, the first week I was not good at it because it was new to me, but like just having that experience too. I would say like right now in baseball, when people ask me, "What are your top experiences in baseball?" I'm like, well, between the Appalachian League and being in the diversity pipeline program, I did part of that 2023 class. Like they're kind of like 1A, 1B because they coincide with each other. And it's just I've been very fortunate to have those opportunities that I can share with people and maybe give some form of impact and inspiration to people that want to do the same things that I'm doing. So it's just it's those two experiences are awesome, and and I've been able to look back on those experiences and like be like, okay, this is where I'm at right now in my career. What's next for me? What does it look like? And then I just say, okay, this is where I'm at right now. But just let the Lord handle it, call it a day, take it from there, be the backseat driver, right? So
And that's good stuff, man. I mean, I'm just sitting here embracing all the good content and information you're giving out because you're giving me supersize right now. You gave me the super, but I'm not complaining. I'm just taking it all in. I mean, the word says, "And all that getting, get an understanding." And also, when you're in a multitude of wise counsel, it's time to listen. You don't talk. You
yeah,
just let them talk.
yeah,
Just let them
like
talk.
that's what I do. Like when I'm around the guys in the Happy League in the summer, I just hang around them. Like I'm the youngest coach on the coaching staff. I'm 33 years old. They've all been there. They're all 20 years, 25 years older than me. But like when I get chances to be around them and just listen to them talk, I don't say nothing. Absolutely not. I don't say a word until they ask me what my opinion is. I just sit there and listen because I want to hear. I want to hear their experience. I want to hear what it was like being in the major league dugout, what it was like being in the clubhouse. So it's like, and as they say, the Lord gave us 2 ears, 2 eyes, one mouth for a reason.
That's
We
right.
all laugh at that, but it's true.
Yeah,
Like the Lord gave us those two things for a reason. So we
that's
need
right.
to like take advantage of those things and like be accountable for that and be mindful of that.
That's right. I mean, that's it leads me to the next question. I want to talk about the opportunities you played. I'm sorry, the opportunity you had a chance to coach at the Bristol state line and the Appalachian State. So my question to you, going to year three versus year one, what are some things that you can enlighten us with coaching at that level that's different from coaching from any other level that you've been experienced?
Well, the first order business. I mean, the Appy League is ran by MLB and USA Baseball, so it's just top notch with everything they do. I mean, we just we obviously from the aesthetic standpoint, like all the ballparks in the Appy League are still, they were affiliated with short season A ball in the minor leagues up until 2021. But I would say the most different thing is that the league is very, very, very player development based. You
Okay.
know, yeah, we want to win and all that stuff, and every coach and manager likes to win, but it's run like the minor leagues. It's like, okay, this lineup plays tonight, this lineup plays tomorrow, this lineup plays on Wednesday. You play 6 nights a week, you get Monday off, right? But and we also carry data coordinators who basically is like the data analytic person who, and the last 3 years, or the last 2 years, I should say, I've been fortunate to have very, very good data coordinators where we would write reports we get we try to figure out, all right, who we seeing on the mound for Danville tonight? Oh, this kid's 93 to 95 from the left side with this, this, and this. So we be going in the war room writing reports at 11 a.m. And it's like I said, it's just like the minor leagues. You're getting off the bus at 2 in the morning, whatever it is. You go to bed, get up at 10, go work out, eat breakfast. You're in the war room at the clubhouse by 11:30. Me and the data guy writing reports and all that stuff. Getting track band numbers, rap soda, all that stuff. And I've been very, very fortunate to have my last two data coordinators who I'm still very, very close with. In 2023, our data coordinator, he's now in advanced scouting. He got a job first in advanced scouting with the Phillies, and now he's with the Blue Jays. Our data coordinator this past year for Bristol, he just got a job with the Atlanta Braves in advanced scouting. And the Appy League is one of those jobs where the data coordinators and the bench coaches, or the fourth coaches as they call them, the coaches in my role, they're trying to groom you to get you ready for that next step, which is professional baseball. So, and the managers have all been there; they've all done that. There's some younger managers in the league trying to get back in, but the coaches in my role, they're trying to prepare you for that minor league experience. So, and it's like it's something that I just can't take for granted. And people I've had people say to me, who are even good college coaching friends, hey, why don't you take a head coaching job in a college summer league? Nah, I'm good. Really? You like being the bench coach? Yes. Why? Because the role I'm in this league and the opportunity I have in this league, I think to me is more beneficial than being a head coach in a collegiate summer league. And there's no disrespect to the other leagues, but it's just like, for me, I just say, hey, man, MLB and USA Baseball have their stamp on this. That's all I got to say to
you. Yeah, it's like going to a restaurant and you're going to say, well, I want to go to this restaurant because you know what's at the restaurant. But there's another restaurant similar or maybe just a tap down.
Yeah,
but you could be the top guy there. But also the one thing that I've learned that wisdom is the principal thing, and all that getting, get wisdom, get understanding. I said that because I was thinking about what you said. You're not the bottom guy. You're a coach, but you're just sitting at the end of the seat. Because when you're around Wise Console, you're grabbing all this information that you can't get if you're the head guy. If you're the head guy over there, you can't get that information. You got to give it out. So I think that's a wise, a wise move on your part, because at the end of the day, I know you talked about the Appalachia State. I'm sorry, the Appalachia League. I said state, Appalachia League. You talked about that. How many games do they normally play?
We play 48.
48 games.
Yep. 8-week season, 48 games. It's 8 weeks. We play 6 games a night or 6 games a week, and you get Mondays off, and it's just like, it's just like the minor leagues. I know Pulaski, which was my first team that I coached, I was the pitching coach there. Pulaski, Virginia, that was the Yankees. Bristol, where I'm at now, was the Pirates and also the Tigers. Johnson City, Tennessee, that was the Tigers. No, not the Tigers. They were the Cardinals. Danville was the Braves. Burlington, who was Burlington? Burlington was the Royals.
Okay.
Bluefield, Virginia, that was the Baltimore Orioles. I'm trying to remember, who else am I missing? But when my first year in the league, Princeton was also affiliated too. All the teams in the Appy League were minor league affiliates.
Okay.
So it's just one of those things where it's like you're getting that experience. You're getting that. When you walk into the ballpark and you have your nice outfit on, getting off the bus, like you just feel like you're in the big leagues.
Yeah.
You walk into the clubhouse, your pregame spread is laid out for you. After BP, you take a shower. Post game, you get your post game meal, you take a shower, put your laundry in the laundry bag, have someone carry the laundry bag to the bus,
That's right.
and then the clubhouse manager takes care of that. So it's like
Hmm.
that's the lifestyle I want to live at
Yeah.
some point. But in order to get there, I gotta do the little things and be the best where I'm at, wherever I'm
Right.
at.
Right. That's
So,
right. That's right.
and it's just like I know at some point the Lord will have me ready to go for that. But right now, I'm just like, all right, let's just be the best college coach that I can be wherever I'm at.
Right. Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
then, once the Lord says, hey, kid, you're ready to go, I'll be prepared.
Okay.
Simple as that.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot, man. I'm gonna jump to another question for you. My question to you is this: I ask everybody that's on the show, who is your Mount Everest players of all time? Your Mount Everest. If you had to have a mountain, Mount Everest, who will be your four Mount Everest baseball players of all time?
I have to go with, since I was born in 1992, I would say we'll start with right-handed pitcher. We'll start with Pedro Martinez for me.
Okay.
He's my favorite right-handed pitcher of all time. Just like I remember watching the '99 All-Star game, just the stuff he had was so electric. And and he struck out the best hitters in baseball like it was nothing. You know, like the stuff he was throwing, like it was video game stuff that he had.
Yeah.
Like the explosive fastball at 5'8", 160 pounds, just like boom on you, slider, boom on you, changeup, good night. Just how great he was. And I've had the privilege at 12 years old to meet Pedro Martinez just in passing, real quick at Fenway. Got to shake his hand. He was like, "Oh, Papa, you throw a changeup," and his fingers are real long. So that's why he had such a great changeup, because his fingers are so long. And I got to shake his hand, and his fingers were like on my wrist at 12 years old. I'm sitting there like this. I had a Pedro Martinez jersey on, and that's why I started throwing changeups. That's my favorite pitch in baseball to this day. I always tell our guys, hey, if you have a good changeup, like you're gonna get everybody out.
Okay.
So I go Pedro Martinez, and then obviously Cal Ripken Jr.
Okay.
And then two more. Pure hitter. I'm gonna pick a pure hitter, Barry Bonds. And then from the catching perspective, who I've seen, I did get to see Pudge Rodriguez. I did have the opportunity to watch him play at Fenway once, so I'm gonna go with those four.
Okay.
That's my four. I go Pedro Martinez, Barry Bonds, Pudge Rodriguez, Cal Ripken Jr.
Okay, that's a good list because most people, how you get the younger crowd, they're not going to say that at all. They're not going to say that at all.
No.
And they're going to say that all. And I'm going to say this because
I got people that argue with me that think that Derek Jeter was a bad shortstop. I'm a Red Sox fan, right? I'm a Red Sox fan through and through. But I got people telling me that Derek Jeter was a bad shortstop. It's like, when people say that, I'm like, don't talk to me. You don't know anything about the game. Like, get out of my face. Like, just
you
get
gotta
out.
be a student of the game. You have to know what you're talking about. Because now you're just talking nonsense. You're talking.
You just trying to talk nonsense to be relevant. It's just like, you gonna tell me that Derek Jeter was a bad shortstop?
No, anybody that can make it to the league, even the bench warmers, they can play. Bottom line. So you can't tell me they can't play. The question is, where are you playing? So that's the question. So that's another.
Where are you playing?
Where you playing?
Okay.
We're not gonna go.
Quiet.
I mean,
you played MLB The Show from your couch.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna even go there because
Right.
there's a lot of people that don't like my list. I mean, because you already said one guy that everybody knows who I like. Everybody know I'm an outfielder, left-handed. Yep. I'm a Barry Bonds fan. Period. Bottom line, he's my number one player. I love Barry Bonds. Hopefully one day, God's willing, I can meet him. I mean, I'm not gonna be starstruck. I'm a little older now. I just want to talk to him. And say, hey man,
He's greatest hitter of all time.
Yeah, I just want to talk to him. And everybody said, well, he ain't the best. I said, who is the best? Okay, I'm not saying, but he's my best. May not be your best, but he's my best hitter.
Greatest hitter to ever do it.
And he can also throw. He can catch. He can run. He can do it all. You can say
people forget that he used to steal a lot of bases too.
Right. People say, well, he did such a whatever. He still got to hit the ball.
You can take steroids all you want. You still have to have two eyes to hit the baseball.
Hit the ball. You got to hit the ball. He got to hit the ball. Period. So I'm not gonna go on my soapbox with that because people know I love Barry Bonds. Everybody knows I love Barry Bonds.
For sure.
So I'm a Barry Bonds fan. Always been a Barry Bonds fan. But I'm gonna go ahead and ask you a couple more questions. So I can get on
Mhm.
that. So you coach. It looks like you said you coached at D3, D2, JUCO. What is the difference of levels based on that? Because let's think about this. There's people that get drafted at D2. People get drafted at JUCO.
Yeah.
What is the difference so you can educate the listeners? Because everybody
It,
wants to go D1. Everybody.
yeah. Yeah. Everybody does, right? And I always, it's not a joke. It's the truth. Like my biggest mistake in my college baseball career, whatever you want to call it, was I didn't go to junior college. I should have. Now that I look back at it now, I'm like, man, I wish I went to JUCO. I really do, because in JUCO, you can just be on the field all day, right? Like there's no NCAA compliance, and no disrespect to the NCAA, but it's like in JUCO, the player development is so great because you can just, if you really want to be that dude that takes ground balls all day,
Yeah,
you can do that. There's no
that's right.
rule against it. And, I know for me, where I'm from up north. I'm from the Northeast. So as you know, in the Northeast, there's a lot of great, great, great academic schools. We have some of the best academic schools in the world. We have, we can name a few: Boston College, Northeastern, Boston University, Yale, Harvard, all that, right?
Right, right.
But with that comes, for lack of a better term, I'm gonna call it like a stigma that when you mention junior college up north, people kind of stick their nose up to it because it's like, oh, you went to such and such community college. You must have had bad grades, or
Grades.
you must have gotten in trouble, or you must have messed up and got kicked out of school, whatever, right? But I had the privilege of living in the Midwest for 2 years, and that was my first time I was able and more exposed to recruiting junior college players. And I was at the D1 level. I loved recruiting the junior college player because that guy's ready to play right away, and he's playing high level talent, you know. And then after my 1 year of coaching Division 1, I got to be a junior college coach. It was awesome. It was fun. I literally would just wake up, go get my black coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, my black guy's coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, and just hit fungos and do extra BP on the field all day. I didn't have to sit in an office. I didn't have to do no paperwork. I would just be like, I would pop into my office like for about an hour, check my emails, and be like, and our hitting coach would call me and be like, hey, you want to help me run the hitting today? There's gonna be some guys on the field at like 11:30. All right, I'll be on the field at 10. I'll be watering and dragging the field so when we hit, the field looks nice,
Right,
right?
right, right, right.
But like JUCO also is a separator. JUCO is where you find out if you're a grown man or not, because see, you don't have all the glitz and glamour stuff that you get at the D1 or the D2 or even some D3s. That JUCO, like, man, you find out
Who you
who
really
you
are.
really
We
are
are. That's
for
right.
real. Like when I was in JUCO, like I coached in JUCO at Spoon River College in Canton, Illinois, middle of Canton, Illinois. They had just redid our field a little bit. Like our field was nice and all that, but like you're in the middle of nowhere. Our campus was in the middle of a cornfield, you know, and the nearest city was 50 minutes, an hour away. Yeah, you could either go to Peoria, which is 45 minutes away, or you go to Macomb, Illinois, where Western Illinois is. And I think the issue now with college athletes is we get so caught up in what it looks like, right? And this is something that my dad used to say to me about various things.
Mm-hmm.
He used to say to me, I remember I was 16 years old. I wanted this car, right? I had a 99 RAV4, which is one of my favorite cars to this day because it had four-wheel drive, trunk space. Love driving that car. Had no problems with it. I was like, I'd be like, oh, so-and-so is 16 years old too, and he's driving a Jeep Wrangler.
Right.
My dad would always be like, Chris, you know what your issue is, man? You're so worried about what it looks like instead of what it is.
That's powerful.
Because you're worried about driving the Jeep Wrangler, but you also forget about the fact that Jeep Wrangler is also, when it gets to 100,000 miles, you're going to be in and out the shop all day. You have a 99 RAV4, and the biggest expense that we've ever had to spend on that car is getting a water pump fixed because it's a 1999. And I was like, all right, I get what you're saying now. So now let's bring it back to, with college sports now. I think a lot of players, I wouldn't call it misguided. I would call it more distracted. They see the facility, they see the uniforms, they see the gear, they see the this, they see the that. All those things are great. Shoot, I like nice gear.
Right.
I'd like to be able to show up to a top notch facility every day, this and that. Cool, great, whatever. But if you're not going to a program that has a plan for you personally, then all that gear, all that glitz and glamour is all irrelevant now. Because see, you can be that guy that goes to XYZ program and has the facility and this and that, but is that coaching staff have a player development plan geared for you?
Correct.
Yes or
Correct.
no?
Correct.
Does that program is that program willing to invest time in you?
Mm.
Because see, you can go to that big time program right out of high school. They may give you a shot, and you got all the gear. You post on Instagram, you get 1 million likes. Cool, man. Like, do your thing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal: when you're not producing, they got someone behind, ready to take your spot. And it's not just like that at D1. It's like that at D2. It's like that at JUCO. It's like that at D3, and it's like that at the NAIA level.
Yeah.
It's like that at every level of college.
Everywhere.
So, what I tell college athletes is, whatever sport you're in, wherever especially baseball, I'm like, hey man, you got to go somewhere where you're celebrated and not tolerated.
That's right.
And what I mean by that is, you got to go somewhere where you're going to get an opportunity to play, you're going to get an opportunity to develop, and you're going to get an opportunity to, grow as a human being too. Because you have to understand this: if baseball were to end for you tomorrow, are you good with going to school? That's what you have to ask yourself, right? Baseball ends for you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You get told that you can't play ball no more. Are you good with just going to that school being a student?
Mm. You dropped the
A lot of
mic
people
on
don't
that.
think about that. A lot of people don't think about that because, and no offense to their club coaches, and I'm not saying all club coaches, I'm saying, a fair amount of club coaches, they just try to push kids to get to the biggest school, to get the offer, to get them to commit, so they can take that commitment and put it on there.
Right. Basically, you're right. I mean, and Coach Chris, you giving them a lot. That's a lot.
It's
I
the
mean,
truth.
that
Because
is
see,
that is the truth. I mean, because like
yeah.
the bottom line is this: everything is a business. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care who it is, what you do. Everything is a business.
Everything
Because
is.
you've said it so well. You didn't even got to say anything else. I mean, the bottom line is
No,
you went from A to Z twice, and the bottom line is like you just said, go where you can be celebrated.
not tolerated.
And I said that because, like you said, everybody wants to look good,
Oh
but
yeah,
there's a saying that I say all the time: everything that look good ain't good for you,
right.
and
It's true.
everything that look green could be artificial turf. It may not be grass.
May not be
Basically what
grass,
I'm
man.
saying. Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is everything you said is, you know, like you said, the bottom line is social media can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
The
And we're
problem
in that
is,
age now. Like, I mean, and it's just one of those things where I think a lot of times with younger athletes today is, again, they're so worried about how they're perceived online that they forget that they got to dial back into real life.
I
You know what I'm saying?
like that.
I think we've all been guilty of that.
Right,
I
right.
think
We
we've
all
all
have.
been guilty of
Yes,
that, right?
yes,
But it's
yes,
just like,
yes,
it's all
yes.
great to walk around with the Jordan gear and all that stuff
Right.
at XYZ big time school.
But
Then when you get left off that travel list,
mm,
what you got to say then?
yeah.
When you get pulled into Coach XYZ's office after 3 4 weeks and he tells you,
Hey, we're gonna
"Hey,
do
you ain't
this.
traveling," yeah,
We're gonna
you
do
ain't
like.
traveling. You might want to think about transferring somewhere else now.
Right. But it goes back to what we talked about because I've got two more questions, but the thing you're saying is this: there's travel coaches, and there's a lot of good travel coaches, but there's
For
more
sure.
bad, but there's more bad coaches than good coaches. I'm gonna say
For
that.
sure.
I'm gonna
For
call it
sure.
what it is because I coach travel ball,
It's facts. It's
and
facts.
some of the stuff that I see is just absurd.
It's crazy.
It's just absurd. I'm like, dude, shut up. I want to tell them just shut up, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not my place to tell a grown man to
It
shut
ain't
up.
our place to do all that.
But after you, what you just said, I've experienced that for this going on my fourth year of coaching travel ball. Fourth year. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you this: what I've seen. You said it perfect. They get this guy to commit because it makes them look like they're doing something big.
Yeah.
So, but then, I'm coaching the kid. I'm using for example. I'm coaching that same kid, and I'm talking to him like, listen. I understand you want to go to the best and you want to do your best, but my
Mm-hmm.
court, and I'm looking at the guy play every day. I'm not talking about a tryout. This ain't a tryout because they go through a trial. They run them, and they see that's only one day. But I see you
Right.
play. I seen you play 30 games in the summer. 30 games. I seen you play. This is who you are. And so when I talk to him, I say, hey, listen, I'm not hating on you. Trust me, I'm not hating on you. I've already did that, done that. I've got a trophy. But let me share this with you. If you think you're going to the University of Miami in Coral Gables, Florida, and you're going to be a shortstop, and your feet look like bricks, I'm just
I'm
your
just
feet
keeping it
looks
100 with you. I'm
your
just
your
keeping it
feet
stacked
your
with you.
feet looks like bricks. He's trying. Yeah, he's all the guys. Yeah, he's telling you this. Yeah, he's going to tell you that. What's going to happen is this: you're going to get there, and you're gonna get
Mm-hmm.
a rude awakening. Now, I'm not saying you can't play. I didn't say that. But my question to you is this: there's 5 tools that I know that scouts look at. 5. And I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you right now, 3 of your tools are rusty. Yeah,
Right.
you're raw. So then I
Right.
become the bad guy because I don't care about being the bad guy. Coach Chris,
You
I don't
become the
care.
bad guy by telling the truth.
I don't care. I believe in telling the truth. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. I don't care if you hate me. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I
Gotta
guarantee
tell the
you
truth, man.
what's going to happen is, Coach Chris, they're going to come back and say, you know what, Coach Laurie, I didn't like what he said, but he told me the truth.
Told me the truth.
And that's all I care about. Because at the end of the day, I
Mm-hmm.
know the Father's looking at me. Because I don't believe in lying to people. Listen, if you
Nah.
if you're bad, you're bad. I mean, if you're raw, you're raw. But at the end of the day, like you said it so perfect. You got these guys in the organization, these travel ball in the summer, and they're like posting this stuff because it makes them look like they're doing something. I said,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
but the bottom line is you shouldn't go to the University of Miami. And I'm using this for an example. You shouldn't go to the University of
Yeah.
Miami. You should go to a smaller school and be the stud on a smaller school.
And you're
And
gonna have an opportunity to be that guy.
correct. But if you're going over here just because you're going to get the gear, you get the glitter, but they're going to play 50 something games. I think it's 52 to 55 games
Right.
before post game. They make it to the tournament. They're going to make it to the tournament regardless. So this you're on the University of Miami, and you got a 52 games. Let's use this for an example. You only play 3 games,
And you
and
don't even travel.
so what are we doing? You wasted a year of eligibility. You wasted it. It's
Right.
gone. You don't get it back. It ain't
Done.
coming back.
Over with.
So I had to say that, Coach, because
Then let's not add the guy who transfers in that winter break.
ooh, ooh, ooh. They don't tell you
They
that.
ain't gotta tell you about him.
That's right. They ain't got to tell you that.
They ain't gonna tell you about him.
That's right.
They're not. They're not. And then I've seen it before where so and so will commit to some Power Four school, right? Program saying, "Oh, you worked hard, this, that, and the third." You go back in the facility at winter break. Where's he at? He back in the facility. Oh, how's thing at such and such school? Oh, I'm transferring to a junior college. I got
See, see, and it happens all the time. It happens all
happens
the time.
every year.
Every year, all the time, and it happens more in baseball than any sport.
Oh yeah.
It happens
Oh yeah.
more in baseball
Oh yeah.
but like you said, I mean, I know God's given me this platform. That's why I say it all the time. I'm helping athletes develop proficiency. I want you to understand. We also assist you in your passion. We're going to assist you. Other words, there's going to be some things you're not going to like. Period. You're not going to like it, and that's part of life. You got to
You
grow
gotta
up.
tell the truth.
Grow up. I love saying that. Just grow up. I don't like you saying that. So what? Grow up.
I don't like.
Just,
Like I've been told in my life, I don't like a lot of things, but I still gotta do them.
You got to do it, man. So I know we're getting out of we're having a great time, but I've got a couple more questions before I end it out. One question for you is this, Coach. I know you coached a lot of guys, seen a lot of talent. This is the play of the day. What play have you seen that you can share with us, the audience? A player that's at the next level. You can use his name if you can. What you've seen that nobody has seen. Can you share that with us?
Um, are you talking about more like who's some of the top guy like
Yeah, yeah,
top guy I've ever coached?
yeah. A play that they've done that nobody has seen it on ESPN or any other.
Um, so honestly that I can say my year in the Northwoods League had the outfielder from the University of Oklahoma. His name was Steele Walker,
Steel
two-time
Walker.
All-American.
You said
Steele
Steel.
Walker.
Okay.
Yeah, and I still talk to Steele to this day. He actually just got married not long ago. Steele Walker, University of Oklahoma, left-handed hitter, left-handed outfielder. Um, Offensively, that was probably the craziest performance I've ever seen. He broke the Northwoods League like hit streak record. At that time, it was 20 games. He had like a 28 game hitting streak in the Northwoods League. Mind you, as a freshman, he showed up 2 weeks late because OU was in the Supers that year. So he comes in and just hits for 27 games. Barrel, 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 barrel. His first at bat, I remember from coaching first base. He didn't even take BP that day. Like everybody was like, "Who's this Steele Walker kid? Like, is he really that good?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, he's that good. He's that good. And I go to our manager, who was my college coach at the time. I bet you first at bat he hits a homer. He goes, "That's fair." Strike one, fouls off a slider, left on left. I'm like, he gonna hit a homer. Lefty hangs the ball, whack, homer. Go around first base. You know, that's when I started seeing him just hit, and it's just like I knew he was a professional hitter, just the way he was in the box. And in 2017, he was a 45th pick in the draft. He went to the White Sox and the Rangers, and obviously injuries didn't allow him to play as long as he should have in at that level. But like, just the way he hit, man, 28 games. Name a college player that has a 28 game hitting streak like that. Would bat freshman in a top college summer league in the country. And I was just like,
Not many.
I was like, man, that dude's professional hitter. Like, and off the field, he's a normal dude, minded his business, did the right thing. Knew the Lord, good, real good guy, good dude. I have nothing but respect for Steele. I still talk to Steele to this day, and but like when he got in the box, I'm like, something gonna happen.
Yeah.
Something going down there. I've seen it. I saw him hit a ball like 390 backside, and I was just like, okay, okay, but like, I would say that's probably the best I've seen and witnessed as a coach. Just watching that for 28 games straight. Well, still got a hit. What else is new? It was at that point I'm like, here comes the hit. What's it going to be, a double? Oh, it's a homer today? Oh, okay.
Okay. That's good. That's good, man. I appreciate
But
you sharing that.
it was cool to watch. And just how he carried himself. That's what really got to me. It's just like how he went about himself. Because he was the type of guy that everybody on our ball club that summer wanted to be around. Okay. Everybody wanted to be around him. All the players wanted to be around him. Just because he was that good of a person, everybody wanted to be around him. So that's the biggest thing for me too. But
I appreciate that, man. That's good. That's good
yeah,
stuff. And
watching it was a lot of fun.
What's his name again?
Steele Walker.
Steele Walker. Okay.
Yep. You went to the University of Oklahoma.
Steele Walker. We're gonna forget that guy. He got drafted by the White Sox, you said.
Yep. He was 2017. He was 45th pick overall in 2017.
That's not bad. Like second round, maybe, right?
Second round.
Yeah, that's good.
Second round.
Steele Walker. I like that. One last question before we close it out, Coach. This is the last question I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna let you have your closing remarks. This question is a question that you have to answer for you. Now, I know we in baseball there's innings, but this is not going to be an inning. This is you have 30 minutes.
Right.
This guy can be dead or alive. Who would you ask advice from as a coach or as a player? He can be dead or alive, so it can help you get to the next level. And why would you pick this person?
I'm 1000% gonna ask Terry Francona.
Terry Francona. Okay, what would you ask him?
I'm just gonna ask him, when did you know? When did you feel that you knew that you prepared to do what you do now? Terry's won the World Series. He's been obviously for the Red Sox. He's with the Guardians now. No, with the Reds. I'm sorry. And
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and it's just if you watch Terry Francona as a manager, just the way he carries himself, right? So it's just like for me, it's like, when did you know that you were ready to be a big league manager? And
Mm.
what is your daily process like for you? And just listen. If you listen to him talk, you know, he never makes it about him. It's always about his coaches. It's always about his players. It's always about the front office, right? And I think that's a lot of managers in the game. But like what Tito is, one thing I've noticed with Tito is if he knows you, he's very approachable and he always gives it to you straight. So I think with Tito, I would ask him like, when did you know that you were ready to do this? And when you got there, what have you done since then to keep you as a manager? What makes you what is it that you do that allows you to keep getting hired as a manager for different organizations,
I
right?
got you. I got you.
But yeah, no, if it's anybody that would ask advice from now in the game, it's definitely Terry Francona, 1000%.
I
Obviously,
like that.
because me growing up being a Red Sox fan, and he gave us a World
Right.
Series and all that stuff. But like just watching how he goes about his business on the daily, like it's just like that's someone that I would like to pick. If I got an opportunity to pick his brain, I'd love to pick Tito's brain at some point.
I like that. That's good. That's good. I mean, he also keeps getting jobs, like you said.
He does.
He gets job,
He
gets a
does.
job. You
He
get rid
does.
of him, he goes somewhere else,
He goes somewhere else, and he
and,
wins.
and he wins. So everybody wants a winner. He's a champion, like as his shirt says, champion. He's a champion, no matter what
Mhm.
how you look at it. Well, man, that's been very good, Coach Chris Monroe. I appreciate everything you've
And I
said today.
appreciate you, man. I
Man, this
appreciate
has
you.
been really good. I mean, I just let you run. I let you run, and you running too, boy. You running. You give some great
Yeah, man.
information.
It's just like again, it's not. It's I'm not trying to make it about me, but like at the same time, when people ask me questions, I try to give the best answer possible too. I just try to give it to you straight and tell it
Yeah,
like it is. So,
yeah, I like that.
I appreciate you having me, man. Like this has been good. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been fun, man. It's been good, man. That's why I always tell people, listen, don't burn the bridge. You don't know who you're gonna be talking to.
You don't know.
You never know. And like I know that we give some very impactful information at this podcast.
Hmm.
We shoot straight. The one main thing was shoot straight. I want the truth. I don't care if it hurts. Just give it to me.
Just be
Give
honest. Tell the truth, man.
give me
I feel
honest
like
truth.
in the world today, like we need more of that. We need more honesty and just tell the truth.
Yeah,
Just keep it
yeah,
real and tell the truth, man.
yeah.
That
Because
we
people,
more.
I don't care how you feel, and I know I shouldn't do this, but I do it anyway because I have thick skin, and I tell people all the time, you gotta, if you're gonna be a man, be a man.
Right.
And what does that mean, Coach? Other words, you gotta have some thick skin. Because I'm gonna tell you something you're not gonna like, and you're gonna tell me something I'm not gonna like. But at the end of the day, we're trying to help each other get to the next level.
And if it's
Period.
the truth, at the end of the day, I can't really argue with you if it's
No,
honesty and
no,
it's the truth. And if I know you're coming from a good place, like who am
that's
I to
right.
get mad at you
That's
if
right.
you're being honest with me and I'm choosing not to listen to and heed the honesty,
Yeah,
that's a me problem. That ain't a you
correct.
problem.
That's right.
That's a me problem.
That's right.
So, but
So
I appreciate you for having me, man. This has been
it's
good.
been great. It's been really good, man. I appreciate it. If you can leave out some closing remarks for the listeners, and if you have any services or ways that you give out some information to them, it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think that I just hope that whoever's listening, right, that again, not only do you take the real talk as I like to say, but like apply like whatever you hear from this conversation to whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to even be in the sport of baseball or in the game of baseball or
That's right.
anything like that.
Mm,
Hopefully that you can take some of this and apply it to whatever you got going on.
Wow.
Whatever that is.
Mm,
Like I don't need to know what it is. Like it's just like whatever you got going on. Hopefully this can be applicable to somebody else too.
correct. Correct. Man, that's good. Because you know what, Coach Chris, I gotta say this. You just basically read my script because my last thing I say at every show, I ask this question to all the listeners that are listening. They know I'm gonna say, where are you being led? Other words, where are you being led? What direction are you going to? LED.
Hmm.
Where are you being led? Either you're going north, south, east, or west.
Right.
You got to have a vision. You got to know where you're going. So, with that being said, led. L stands for listen. You talked about this earlier, and I caught it. God gave us all two ears. But the problem is with today's world, we want to talk. I said, I don't need you to
Hmm.
talk. I need you to listen. Because the L stands for listen. And why do you want me to listen, Coach Lauren? Because Coach Chris Monroe has given you so much information that you can listen. If you listen to it, you should be able to apply it. If you listen, also, that's where faith comes in. Faith comes by hearing, not by talking.
Correct.
So L stands for listen. Okay, what's the next letter, Coach? E. What does E stand for? Listen, then execute. I need you to execute on everything that Coach Chris just said. He just said this. He didn't even know I was going to say this. LE. E stands for execute. And once you execute what you listen to, God will give you the dominion to dominate. That's what D
Hmm.
stands for. You need to dominate, listen, execute, and dominate. This is Coach Laurie, very own. Man, Coach Chris Monroe, been such a blessing. This is episode 59. It has been a great opportunity to talk to you. You've given some great information. Listen, execute, and dominate. Also, hey, as I say all the time, God bless and never stress. I'm out. Take care, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Bye bye.